This conference will now be recorded.
So in the previous session, we have seen PV creation with host path. So host path in the sense your backend volume storage type is host path, but you are utilizing that particular backend storage now, not directly to your pod or a workloads. So we are creating through pe- persistent volume. Okay. So which is means that even though if you delete your workloads or your pod, still your PV will be available. Means your volume will be available to access. Okay. So that's the intention of using this PV and PVC concept. Okay. So now let us try to use a different, what do you say, another one, which is nothing but NFS. Okay. So with these two examples only, we will continue with different types of options what we have. Okay. So first of all, earlier example in the previous session, I have shown how to use host path as a backend storage for your PV. Now let us try to create another PV with the backend storage called NFS. Okay. So first of all, cross verify whether I have NFS server or not because I used a new cluster, right? Let me verify. So how I can verify is like the package. Okay, dpkg-l grep NFS, for example. Okay, I don't have it, which means that this is a new cluster actually which I used. So let me try to install and let us try to use this particular NFS as a backend storage for your PV. Okay,
Sudhir, are you
so
sharing the screen?
yeah, if I'm not wrong. Oh, okay. Thank you. Maybe I missed. Okay, so this is host path example and this is NFS example for your PV. Okay, simple. This particular section will be added how we used for your volumes in the object creation, right, for your workloads and your pods. Similarly, you will try to specify this particular option in your persistent volume, that is nothing but host path and then this NFS. If you want to use any other one, you can utilize that as well. Okay, so now I'm using this one. So let me try to go back and let me try to install first NFS server. So since I don't want to use additional node to configure the NFS server, so I'm utilizing the same nodes for NFS configuration. Okay. So here I will be installing NFS server. So apt install NFS hyphen server hyphen NFS kernel. This is your server package. Hmm. So then what I need to do after this, I need to choose one particular directory to expose, right? To expose to the clients who are connecting to this particular NFS server. Okay. It might be my control plane node or it might be my compute plane node or tomorrow it might be another compute plane node. They want to utilize this particular directory to store some information. Okay. In this NFS server centralized location. So I am trying to create one directory called mkdir where just like try to use it. Okay, where NFS, sorry, NFS. Okay, simple. Okay, so this particular directory is owned by root user. Okay, maybe different users will try to communicate to this particular directory and they want to store the information. Okay, so when they want to do like that, you should not have any permissions issue in order to store the information, right? So let's see, I will try to use root. If you are also using root user, the client is using the root user, that's fine. Okay, but if he is using any other user to create some particular directories under this NFS server storage, it will create some problem. Okay, permissions issue. So in order to avoid that, I am trying to change the ownership of this particular directory to nobody, no group. Means everybody can read the directory and everybody can write the directory. Nobody, no group. Okay, so for which directory it is where NFS. Done. So now if you look at this, it looks like this. Okay, So this particular directory I want to expose in my NFS server, which you already know, right? So what is the file name? It is /etc exports. So let me take one example, node subject. So here we have to first column, we have to mention which directory you are trying to expose, right? So /var NFS, and to which network you want to expose. Let's say I want to expose this particular directory to all the clients who are connected to a network called 10.128.0.0/16, for example. Okay, this is what I want to do. This one I'm not worried about this option. This option is also not needed for me. No sub recheck. There's one more option. No code scratch. Okay, so this is what it is. Now after this, let us try to restart your NFS server. Let us verify the status. So you have to confirm, okay? You cannot see that it is running or not, right? So let's confirm this, okay? Always you have to verify like this. Now I can see my NFS server is running properly. If you want to see the details, which directory was exposed and all, -av. You can see this is the directory which I have exposed to this particular network. Okay, this is how it is. So my NFS server configuration is done. Okay, so I'm doing one particular mistake. I will show you what could be the error, and then I will try to show you how to fix it. Okay, so let's go back. I'm intentionally doing that particular error. Okay, so yeah, now this is done. NFS server is configured. Here it looks like 10.128.0.2, I guess, because my server IP address is this is where NFS server is installed, right? So you can see it is 128.0.2. Okay, so now I have to change this one. And what is the path? It is var NFS. Okay, read only true. If you set read only true, he can only read the data what is stored here, but he cannot write the data. I don't want that to happen, so that's the reason read only false. Okay, so this is how it is. Let's try to use this. And persistent volume also I'll try to create at a time. Okay, since you already know about what is this persistent volume claim. Okay, I will do slight modifications. This is my storage class name which I've assigned. This is the storage capacity. I don't want to talk too much about this volume mode and this persistent volume reclaim policy as well right now. Okay, and what is my server actually? This is not the IP address, right? So it is 10.128.0.2. That is where my NFS server is running. Dot 2. And what is the directory that I want to expose? Which I exposed actually is var NFS. Done. Okay. So these are the two modifications which I've done. Read write once. So the access mode is read write many. So many clients can use this particular mount type actually. So let's save this and come out. After this, let us try to create. Okay. So first of all, let me see if I have any other PVPVC available. I don't have anything, right? kubectl create -f pv nfs. We are trying to create it. Now if you see this, it has been created and it is taking few minutes to communicate to that particular pv. Let's wait. You can see the status, it is available, and the storage class is nfs-manual. So it is trying to look for that particular storage class and it will try to attach. You can see now it got attached successfully. Okay, So you can say that is called attach. That attachment is called as bound. Okay, bound in the sense this PVC was attached to this particular PV. Okay, done. It is one-to-one mapping. It is not one to many or many to one. Okay, that point you have to always remember it. Okay, now this is done. So we are happy to go with the application deployment. Okay, so now how to create it? So PVPVC was created successfully and we have done that particular part without any issue. Now let's try to launch this particular deployment. Okay, so either we can use this one or whichever you want, you can use it actually. Okay, so let's take this example, or we can go with the simple example of pod. Okay, since I want to show that particular error, the best way is to use this example. Okay, I want to intentionally show the error. So what is your PVC name that you have to modify here? Is it NFS-PVC? Yeah. So it's the same name. Okay. No need to worry. So PV or yeah, well, this is another example, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Let me try to overwrite this. Okay. So let's save this and come out. Simple Nginx example. It will try to serve the data. That's how it is. Okay. So kubectl create or PV the pod. Yeah. It was created successfully. So now your PVPVC was available already, and now this particular PVC was utilized by your pod. Okay, so let's see. You can see container is under creation process. Let us wait. As per my knowledge, I know that Nginx image is already available. Whatever the Nginx image which I'm trying to use in the YAML, it is latest version. I hope this particular latest version is available, and it should not take such a long time to create. Okay, so I was curious to know like what happened to this particular pod right now. Okay, I just want to see. So then we have to use describe, okay, pod and the pod name. Okay, either you can give a space or we can give the name, whatever it is. You can see there was an error. Okay, can someone tell me what could be the error? What went wrong for this based on your the things which you know? What happened exactly? Something went wrong here. You can see there it is a failed one. What could went wrong? No? Okay. Simple thing is, in order to execute this command, see generally if you want to mount a particular directory to your directory in your system, we generally execute mount space -t nfs, that particular nfs server you can see here. Okay. Mount is a command and this is the argument. Okay. So which it is trying to execute. So when this is getting executed, first of all, you need to have a NFS client over there. Without having NFS client installed, you cannot give this particular option NFS. Okay, you cannot do that. So that's the reason it went wrong. So what we have to do is nothing but we have to go to this particular node and let's try to install NFS common package. Okay, that is called as a client package, NFS client package. Once that is installed, you will be successful. Okay, so that is error and this is the solution. Okay. Okay, so let me try to do this. NFS hyphen common. So how many nodes you have? On all the nodes you need to install this package. Why? Because you don't know on which node this particular pod will be assigned until unless you control it. Okay. On the control plane it is not needed. Why? Because you already installed NFS server. So server in the sense it will also install the NFS common package. Okay. So no need to worry from our end. If you want, let me show the proof on the control plane. Sorry. If you want to see that, apkg -l grep NFS. You can see here common package is installed. Okay, that's all. Now your compute plane also done. It's done already. Okay. So let's wait and see whether in the next restart will it identify or not. Which we can give -w and we can see it. See, every time it will restart, right? In the restart, it will come to naught. Or else we have to delete it and we have to recreate it. So, okay, sorry. Let's wait. See, let's see. Okay. So by looking at this only, we can understand it is not getting restarted. Okay, so what we have to do? Oh, it identified. Yeah, it is now. You can see it is successful. Okay, done. You can see now your pod is running successfully. After I fixed it, okay, after I fixed that particular issue, now you can see your pod is running successfully. Okay, if you try to give a describe, you can see now it got mounted successfully. It is able to pull the image, and after that it was able to continue with creating the container and running the container. Okay, so this is how it is. Okay, so once a decision has been made by the scheduler that it has to launch on that particular node, the first thing what it will do is nothing but it will try to do a mounting. Okay, it knows the pod ID and everything, so it will try to mount that particular directory to the NFS. Okay, that directory will be utilized by your pod container in the pod. Okay, to save the data. This is how it happens actually. Okay, in this way. Now if I try to curl it, obviously you will get some info like welcome to Nginx or something like that. Forbidden. Why? Because the directory is empty in the NFS server which got mounted to my particular directory inside the container. So what are the data you have, it get wiped out. Okay, so what I can do is nothing but I can just create index.html /etc fs index.html. Okay, simple. If I try to curl, you will get the same data. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, so this is all about your NFS, what we have used for your backend PV storage. Okay, so let's take another examples and let's try to understand. Now the simple thing is let us try to understand one by one concept of this persistent volume claim reclaim policy. Now in the reclaim policy, what I've told, if you delete your pod, okay, let's say kubectl delete, okay, pod hyphen all in this, it will delete all the pods in my namespace. Now I have only one pod, so without any issue I just executed this command. Now once I delete this particular application, whether it is running through pod or whether it is running through any workload, I don't care. So this got uninstalled. Once it is uninstalled, what will happen to your PV and PVC? Those will be available. Okay, those volumes will never get deleted until you delete it. That's the reason it is called as persistent, right? Now, if I delete this PVC, what will happen for a default policy called retain, as we seen it in the last time? It will come to a released state, and after that, you know how to make it available, right? You know how to make it available, right? So let me delete this.
Yes, Sudhir, I have one small question here.
Yeah.
If I try to attach the another node, particular NFS server, already
Okay.
existing data wiped out again.
No. Nothing will happen to your NFS. See, once the data has been stored in the NFS server through whatever medium it is, the data will be available until unless you manually delete that particular data. Okay. So my
Okay.
index.html is there. Nothing happened to it. See, even though it is deleted, my application is deleted, my PVC was deleted. Nothing will happen to your data. That is the intention of using this centralized server, right? To store your data.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see there. Index.html is there. Nothing happened to it. Okay, so now what we are trying to say is nothing but after deleting your PVC, your PV went to a released state. Why? Because you are using a retain policy. Retain policy in the sense manually what we did, right? Doing some changes and all, making it available, that you have to do it manually. Okay. So this is what you know. So let's say if I want to make this available, so kubectl edit. If you don't make it available, you cannot utilize this particular volume. Okay. Let me try to create that particular PVC again. Kubectl create hyphen f pv NFS PVC. Now you can see PVC got created. Now you will see it will be in pending state only. This example I have shown you practically in the previous session as well. It will be in pending state only. Never it will get attached. Why? Because your status of your PV is not available. Only when it is available, how you make it available, it's up to you. But only when it is available, then only this can be attached to your PVC. Okay, this then only it could happen. This now I want to make it that possible. So what we did last time, what we did, we edited that particular PV. So kubectl edit PV and the PV name, right? Then what we did, we removed this particular section called claim reference. Okay, because these entries are already saved. That's the reason it is not able to attach, right? So remove only the claim reference. Once it is removed and saved, now you can see your PV is available. After some time, your PVC will get attached to that particular PV. Why? Because it is in available status. Okay. So this is what you have to do manually in the retain policy. Okay. So there are other two policies which is called as recycle and delete. Okay. So let us see what are those. So now you can say successfully done, right? So let us change this. Let me try to remove this all. I'm trying to remove all of them, and I want to add a reclaim policy called delete, or let's say recycle. Okay. Now PV NFS. Let's add a recycle policy. So how will you add it? Simple. Go to the documentation, PVPVC, then you'll get the official document itself. If you scroll down, you can see retain is a default one. That is what we have spoken. What is this retain? Retain reclaim policy allows you to manually reclamation of the resource. So manually you have to do it, or else it will be in the released state only. Until unless you do some modification, then only this will be in available state. You can see here, when the PVC is deleted, the PV still exists and the volume is considered as released. Okay, that is what we have seen practically, but it is not yet available for another claim because the previous claimed data remains in the volume, on the volume. So as I told you, whatever has attached previously, what PVC was attached to that particular PV, those details are saved in the PV itself. So that's the reason it is not available for the another PVC to get attached to this particular PV. That is happened. So that's the reason manually as an administrator what I've done. See, as an administrator can manually reclaim the volume with the following steps. What is the step I have followed? Delete the PV. That is the thing which you have to do. That is the first choice. So I have not done like that. Okay. The associate storage assistant of external interface still exists after the PV is deleted, which means that even though if you delete your PV, the data which is stored in the backend storage, nothing will happen to it. That is what they are trying to say. What are the medium you are using? Whether it is NFS, whether it is AWS EBS or GCE. If you are using AWS EBS or Azure Disk, what will happen if you delete your PV and PVC? It will not delete your disk in the AWS account, or it will not delete your disk in the Azure account. It's not like that. That will be available. Okay, that's one thing you have to remember. Manually clean up the data on the associated storage, assist accordingly. If you want to utilize that once again, you can clean up the data which is present in the disk, and you can utilize it as a fresh disk to your new volume. Okay, manually delete the associated storage assist. This is what we have done actually. Okay, or if you want to reuse the same storage assist, create a new PV with the storage assist definition. Okay, so these are the two things which you can do in the third step. So, but what step I have followed is nothing but manually delete the associated storage assist. Means what, in that particular PV we have a section called claim reference, right? That is what I have deleted. Okay, so that it is easy for me to reuse that particular PV for my new PVC. Okay, so that is what you have to follow manually when you are using written policy. Okay, that is a default policy actually. Okay, next policy is nothing but we have delete and recycle. So what is recycle? Let us try to understand, then I will show you what is delete. Okay, recycle policy in the sense simple. When I execute rm minus rf command, what will happen? In a directory, let's say if I executed rs minus rf command, I gave some directory name, under that I gave star, means all the files under that particular directory will get cleaned up. Now this directory looks like a new directory. So similarly it will happen to your volume. Now if you are using recycle policy, what will happen? Whenever you are using this particular volume, right? Okay, what are the volume you are using, the data which is stored in the volume will get cleaned up automatically. Everything will get cleaned up. Now it looks like a new volume. Okay, so that is called as recycle policy. But not all the backend supports this particular recycle policy. Okay, there are certain particular storage backends which doesn't support this recycle policy. We'll look into that actually. Okay, so I just want to show that as well, to show like which are supported and which are not supported. Yeah. So if you want to use this recycle policy, it is like scrub. Okay, I give you some disk or some particular directory, I told you to clean up. So you will clean up all the data which is present in that particular disk, or you will delete all the files which are present under that particular directory. The same thing will be done by your Kubernetes. Okay, that is called as recycle. Okay, so currently only NFS and host path supports recycling. So either you can take a host path example right now or a NFS example right now from our end to utilize that particular recycle policy. So we are using the same examples, right? So I can show in any one of the example, right? So let us see that. So here I will be using the recycle policy first. So the recycle policy, let's try to add. Recycle. Hmm. Let's try to utilize this. Done. Recycle policy right now. So we already have that index.html and all, right? So let's now let's try to create this FLF PV. And let's try to create the pod as well. This was created successfully. Let's try to verify our PV PVC first, and then we can look into our pod. Okay, it is bounded successfully. Let's verify our status on the pod. It is running successfully. This you already know. Now if you try to do some curl, you will get the data what is present in the index.html. Okay, that is saved in the NFS server. Done. Now let us try to delete the pod once again. Now this pod got deleted. Now if you want, you can just cross check. This is got terminated. Okay. Now if you look at your PV PVC, those will be available. Now if I delete this particular PVC, what will happen to my PV? Okay. So let us see. Earlier when you are using a written policy, it will be as a released state. Okay, earlier it was attached to some particular PVC and now it got released from that particular PVC. So that's how the status got changed to released. Then we have seen how to change it to available. Okay, manual. So let's take this tutorial, delete and let's give this particular name. Now this got deleted. Let's verify the status now. You can see now immediately it got available. So what happened to the data? Now let's see. Where is my NFS? NFS. Where is index.html? It got cleaned up. Okay. So this is how it is. Now it will make it like a new directory, and that's how it can be utilized. Okay. So this is called as a recycle policy. Okay. Hope you understood. It is like cleanup. It will do a cleanup, and now the disk will be like a new disk, and that will be shown as available right now. After that task is done, your PV will show it automatically as available. Okay, so this is called as recycle policy. You can use it for host path example or NFS example. You cannot use for any other example right now. Okay, so it is clearly mentioned that. Okay, so recycle policy can be used only for NFS and host path right now. Okay, what about this delete? Okay, so associate storage assets such as AWS EBS, GCE PD, Azure Disk, OpenStack Cinder volume is deleted. What does it mean? When you try to delete your PV, PVC also will get deleted. Sorry, when you try to delete your PVC, PV will get deleted automatically, and the disk which is used in the backend, that also will get deleted. Let's say if you are using AWS or Azure Disk, okay, you created a volume. That volume what was utilized by your PV, and you have created your PV with a reclaim policy called delete. Okay, now you created your PVC. Okay, now once you delete your PVC, PV will get deleted automatically since the reclaim policy is delete, and the backend storage what you are using, that also will get deleted automatically. Okay, so if you want that particular thing, then you have to go for delete reclaim policy. Let us try to verify whether it is possible with NFS or not. As per this particular suggestion, it is not possible. Let us do an experiment, right? We cannot, nothing will happen to it. Okay, so I will create one directory under this mkdir slash var NFS, and then let's say backup. Okay, so I will change the ownership. Okay, done. So now I will create one particular file under that. Var NFS index.html. Simple. Okay, let's not make too complex. Then let's go to your PV NFS. NFS. Let's try to change this to delete. Okay. Now let's save this, and here I want to tell that I want to use under NFS. I want to use backup. Okay. So let's save this and come out. Okay. So let's try to create one by one. kubectl create -f pv nfs. Oh, it's already exists, huh? Oh, PVC is already. How come? I deleted, right? Oh, okay, okay. Let me delete this. Both got deleted. Now I will create a new one. Both will be created with the new changes. So, cpf pv, comma, PVC. You can see now it is a delete policy. Anyway, this particular PV got attached to this particular PVC. Done successfully. Now let us try to create a pod. Actually, it is not needed, but that's okay. Let's try to create it. Now this particular pod got created. Now if you try to look at the status of this particular pod, it has to show as a running state. Okay, the container is under creation. Okay, let's wait. What happened to this? Let's see. Let us see the status. kubectl describe, or you can see failed reason mount. Again it got mounted. Backup. Maybe this is not exports, but it is exposed, right? Okay, let's say export fs. Window. Let's start. So let's see general what went wrong dead. Build backup, no such failure directory. Okay. Is it seriously not available? Let's see. Where I created it, right? Where reference. Oh, where I created them? Okay, mkdir slash where nfs. Where I created guys? Backup. Let me see the previous commands. I created this. Hmm. Now this is available right now. Okay, that's okay. Now if I restart my not active, so cannot be reloaded. So I have to do a restart. Now it is successful. So export fs. Okay, done. So now if I look at the status of my pod, let's wait. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes, okay? So let us check the status. So now we can see it is running successfully, right? So if I try to do some curl, okay. So forbidden in the sense I don't have that particular index.html in that particular directory. Okay. So let me try to create once again. echo, echo. Just happening. Okay. So it's working fine. Okay. Now let me try to delete this particular pod and let's see what happens in the backend. So kubectl delete pod hyphen all. This pod got deleted. So you don't see anything related to your pod information right now. Okay. Okay. Now let's verify the status of your PV and PVC. Okay. Yeah, still available, right? Obviously. Okay. So let's try to delete this. So kubectl delete and let's give that PVC name. Now, if you look at your PV, it is failed. Obviously, you know why? Because it is not supported. Okay, because this deletion will be available only for the backend types called AWS EBS, GCE PD, that is not a persistent disk, okay, Azure disk, OpenStack Cinder. Only for them this will be available. If you try to use NFS, host path and all, they don't have a permission to go and delete that particular directory. Okay, so which you have tried to mount. Okay, so that's the one thing we have to remember. So now if you look at the output of this particular describe or something, okay, so kubectl describe. If you look at this particular PV, you can see error getting deleter volume plugin for volumes NFS not deletable volume plugin matched. So this volume plugin, whatever you are using, is not matched to delete that particular backend source. Okay, so this is how it is. So this is one thing we have to remember always. Whatever it is mentioned here, you have to look at that. So this is how we have to use it. And the mount option, you know how many we can use. Among this, host path and NFS will works for your recycle, and delete reclaim policy works only for your AWS EBS, GCE PD, Azure disks, OpenStack Cinder. Okay, so this is what we have to remember. Okay, then coming to the next phase is nothing but access modes. Okay, so these access modes we will be discussing tomorrow. What is that? Is it Friday? Oh, no, today is Friday, right? Okay, tomorrow is Saturday. Okay, so tomorrow maybe I will tell you by evening. So tomorrow, if we have a session, we will be talking about this access modes. What is this permission? What is this read write once, read write many, read only many? What is this permissions? And we have one more implementation which was added in Kubernetes 1.22 is nothing but read write once pod. Okay, read write once pod. Okay, this is the new one which was added actually. Okay, earlier we don't have this in 1.2 1.21 or 1.0. Before that versions we don't have this particular option. Okay, so read write once pod. What is this? The volume can be mounted as read write by a single pod. This is only supported for a CSI volume and Kubernetes version 1.22. Okay, so we are using 1.22, so we can do an experiment with this particular read write once pod. Okay, so this is what it is. So these are the permissions which we have right now. So let us see what is this permission talks about. Okay, and then we can understand what is this volume mode. We have file system and block. Okay, so right now we can see sometimes you will see a file system, right? If you try to give a describe of your this one, you can see here file system right now. Okay, so I'll tell you what is this file system and what is block. Okay, access mode, and we will see what is volume mode, both of them in the next class. Okay, then we will talk about a dynamic PV creation, okay, which is most important in any concept. Like everywhere, if you try to do whether it is cloud Kubernetes or on-premises Kubernetes, we have to more rely on dynamic PV creation, okay, which is called as storage class creation. Okay, so we'll talk about that in the next class. Okay, thank you. Any questions, please?